Hi viewers, so let's start today's analysis. I think a fantastic day for the markets, not only because it closed in green, the major indexes, especially the Nifty, but I think the broader market, the way it was performing, some of the stocks, the way they were performing, it was showing that the bulls are back. There's a lot of buying interest in some of the mid cap stocks, small cap stocks, and overall Nifty as such as well. And probably this is fueled by some of the global markets updates as well. The way US markets have been growing every day. So we'll discuss all those things. What exactly is going on in the Indian markets? What is happening globally? How exactly India-Pakistan war is panning out, and let's say how much it's going to impact the markets. What should we do? What should be our strategy? All these things we'll discuss in this video in details. So we'll start with the global markets first. So I think US markets are on a different trend at all. So S&P has done 9 consecutive green sessions and they have broken the record for last 20 years. So this is the kind of rally which has happened in S&P, Dow or Nasdaq for that matter. And now the US market has erased all the losses of the tariff war when it commenced. So it commenced somewhere in 2nd or 3rd April uh, when Mr. Trump announced that the tariffs on each country with his brilliant board, which were applicable from 9th of April. And since then, whatever losses were there in the US markets all have been erased. Now it is trading higher if we discount the futures which were down today. But if we remove those discounted futures, the closure of the US markets now in above those tariff wars. So the question is why it is happening so. The tariffs are not removed as yet. Nothing has been solved between US and China. Then why are we ignoring, or at least the US market are ignoring everything, and why the markets are going up? So there are 3-4 reasons for it. First is that the markets made a panic bottom. There were a lot of selling into the US markets, and now the markets are realizing that the tariff war, all the bad news is probably in the prices, and now things can only better from here on. That is one part. Second part, of course, liquidity is chasing US markets once again. That is causing the US markets to increase without any uh, thought on what Fed will be doing, how is that the inflation matrix, job report, economy, etc. All those things. So probably that's the liquidity which is driving the US markets once again. Third reason is that there is continuous, you know, statement from Scott Bessent or Mr. Trump, which is trying to show that we want to latch on to the deals and we want to close this tariff war as soon as possible. Our major intention is not to have this tariff war, but to actually come to conclusion of deals. But don't forget, no deal finalization has been finalized or announced with any of the countries as yet. The deadline for 90 days break is only will be closing around 3rd of July, although we are just in May as of now. Uh, Nothing much has been told by Fed, nothing much increasingly comforting theme we're getting from the inflation point of view as well, because the numbers which have come on Friday for the job reports have been splendidly well. The job openings were much higher than anticipated, which is showing there's a lot of strength in the economy. Unemployment rate is around 4.2%, so it is not deteriorating much. That is again showing that the strength of the economy. And don't forget, if you don't see increase in unemployment numbers, Fed will not cut the interest rate. So in the May policy, there are absolutely no chances now that the interest rate would be cut. The chances for rate cut have now shifted to July policy. Let's see between how the Palace policy or let's say the inflation numbers or other GDP or economic numbers pans out. But now for May policy, there is hardly any room left for any rate cut. But the speech of Mr. Paul will be very important. Let's see how it goes. So, and also Mr. Trump is now continuously saying in various forums that he will not remove, or let's say he cannot remove Fed Chairman Mr. Powell, and but he's still insisting that the interest rates may be cut. So let's see how Mr. Powell reacts to all these things, whether he takes the economic parameters into guidance or he is, sometimes of buckling down under political pressure. We'll all see in the forthcoming time to come. So if you see the 2 or 3 good things which have happened is 90 days break, which tariff break, which Trump gave. So the softening stand between US and China. US have continuously told that China is approaching them, although China denied initially, but now they are saying that they are contemplating in terms of how the tariff talk should begin with US. They also There was also a news from Wall Street Journal. This is from Bloomberg, that China is considering the proposal, or let's say the export of fentanyl drug, which was a major pain point from US, because around 40,000 Americans are dying every year because of drug abuse, and fentanyl plays a very big part in that. So, uh, US told that you have to stop this fentanyl drug business into US through, especially through Mexico, and I think China is contemplating on that, which made the market even more happier, and that's why we saw that rally on Friday to a certain extent because of that also, and because of Trump statement that he'll not be removing Mr. Power, and third, the economic job opening, which came much stronger. So on three fronts, the markets were cheering on Friday. So if you see, the bad news was priced in. China is showing some sign of buckling down. That's not exactly buckling down, but let's say softening of the stand with US. Even US is trying to do that, and both the countries realize that now the trade is not happening between both the countries, which is not good for either of the companies. क्या होगा ना, दो बिलियन की लड़ाई में बंदर will take the rupee. That's the same thing. Ultimately, the world trade has to happen. Consumption cannot slow down drastically so fast. So if these countries will not trade, some other countries will trade. So किसी को benefit है बहुत ज़्यादा, which no country likes to do that, and morely because there are a lot of mature people in various political positions and economic positions, which will continuously guide the leaders that what should they do. So ultimately, nothing is happening on that. So softening of stand is happening. Fed chair is not being removed. Economy is still stronger. Inflation is showing not very big signs of rise as of now. These are the three, four reasons a 90 days break at least uh, for the tariff barriers, for the tariff announcements. These all four, five factors are contributing to the US uh, some kind of a it's a pullback which has happened in the US market. But will that sustain? The question is, should it sustain, and will it sustain? And some one more reason why US markets are still doing good is because the results which are coming splendidly well in most of the companies. Although many companies are cutting on the guidance, or they are deferring the guidance, but still the US markets are cheering because the numbers as per se are coming good, at least for the Magnificent Seven also and other companies also. But now the bigger question is, will it sustain? And is it this rally is actually based on fundamentals? So let us analyze the things again from the grassroots level. Ultimately, tariff war, why it is negative for China and US? US may major of the economy, two-thirds of the economy, or even more than that, 75% of the economy is run by consumption. And don't forget, 75% of the Americans live on debt, on credit cards. They don't have spare $800 also along with them to meet their emergency crisis. So if at all the tariff war between US and China is not going to resolve quickly, then the consumption will take a hit, and it will slow down the economy of US market. It's bound to happen. It is designed in such a way. It is designed in such a way because you have to go through that pain. The fiscal deficit of US is 7%. How can you sustain an economy with such a high fiscal deficit? And with such high interest rates, you will be serving a lot of interest to the countries which have bought dollars, which have bought your US bonds. Ultimately, it is not sustainable. So you have to cut down the government spending. You have to cut down whatever reforms, or let's say the soaps which you're giving to the citizens. You have to cut down those things. You have to bring in manufacturing into your own country. You have to bring on the solid growth which is there, not based on consumption, but based on other factors as well, to take your economy forwards. If that is the case, if that is what Trump wants, and if that is only the good thing for US, and if really Trump wants to achieve that, then you have to go through that pain. The pain includes recession, unemployment rate going up, job losses, and some kind of a deflation, and some kind of a stagflation, in fact, which American economy has to face through. That is the only solution, long-term solution they have. See, ultimately, If you start pushing whatever you're doing right now, this will only defer your ultimate decline, your ultimate demise. But in this way, the country has to fall someday or the other. So if Mr. Trump is serious, which I think he is, and if he wants to leave a legacy, then I think America has to go through that pain. And if America has to go through that pain, then this rally is just a dead cat bounce and cannot be relied upon. US will try to do this in stages, so we might not anticipate a big fall. Trade deals will happen. Again, they will happen in stages. So markets should not remain nervous. Things should not happen in a hurry. They should not fall like pack of cards. So everything will not deteriorate very fast, but slowly and steadily, the think tanks of the US, if at all they're working very earnestly for the US benefit, then they will do in stages and reach to a point where I'm saying of extreme unemployment, extreme recession, job losses, etc., etc., and then building up the blocks and coming again as a bigger, stronger economy. Don't forget, dollar is always a reserve currency. They can anytime boost their economy whatever whenever they want. So it's not that they cannot play with the economy. It's very easy. So probably they should take it to that point where everything shatters at one point of time, and then allow the things to happen in a different way. If that happens, perfectly good. This is a slow process, but I still feel that this is not going to stay, and this is not the right way. What is happening? US should go. US should go through that pain once for all to actually come to a better economic, standpoint for a much longer future. They will do it or not, I don't know. So coming to the realistic terms, क्या होगा? This is what the theory I've told you. But realistically, क्या होगा? So Mr. Trump is eyeing the markets. He is in continuous pressure of the CEOs of US. So things will happen very slowly and steadily. And let's see how it goes. But I think US markets का हो गया. For the time being, यूएस मार्केट का जो बाउंस आना था वो हो गया है. आई थिंक यहीं कहीं पे एक टॉप बनना चाहिए. आई थिंक द मार्च हाइज उसके आसपास या उससे थोड़ा नीचे कहीं पे एक टॉप बन जाना चाहिए फिर दोबारा. एंड देन अगेन सी यूएस मार्केट स्लाइड. दिस इज व्हाट आई थिंक. Dollar index will remain low, not to worry at all. Bond yields will remain low, not to worry at all. Crude, I mean, you cannot get a better gift as what crude is giving. OPEC has further reduced or further increased the production for June, from June onwards, 4 lakh barrels per day, which means higher fuel. And because of the difficulty in analyzing, or let's say the scope of GDP growth not being higher both in US and China, the demand anyways is looking sluggish. And on top of that, if you're increasing the output supply, the prices have to actually decrease a lot. So which means food prices will remain in check. There should not be trouble at all. This is what Trump also wanted, that the energy prices should remain down, which will keep the inflation down. That's again good for overall world markets. Whoever is actually net consumer, or let's say net importer of oil. So India is also going to benefit? Definitely yes. So this is about the global market as such, which is going on. Dollar index and all those things are pretty benign. And I told you, you don't have to look at these indices. They will remain low and comfortable now. Now, Indian markets, if we talk about, so Indian markets have been getting this, higher edges Nifty for last 7 to 8 days. It's not that we're not getting it. We were seeing futures either in green during the market hours or during the night when the US market actual session was happening. But we are not able to digest those things because of our own internal problem, which is the India and Pakistan geopolitical, some kind of tension which the markets are witnessing. But take the beauty. People are short, or at least people are high on safety. Safety means a lot of hedges have been taken. In fact, which you have, if you have higher portfolio, somebody is taking Nifty short, and if you have Nifty long position, people have taken a lot of puts. What are FIIs doing? They are not allowing the markets to come down. They are decreasing your puts every day. They will make sure that your shorts do not work, your hedges do not work. They just go down simply and have no purpose, and then you will see the fall in the markets. This is how the markets behave typically. When you will feel that the market should be nervous, should actually go down, they will never go down. They will never go down. You are seeing a huge FII buying, and the FII buying is not supported by any fundamental except for dollar index, or is the fact that India is rightly placed in terms of relatively between the both within many of the countries. But fundamentally, as for the Nifty earnings point of view, still the markets are looking overvalued. I would say they're, if not overvalued, they are highly expensive. So we saw the results of Kotak Mahindra Bank, 14% YY decrease in profits. We saw SBI quarterly results, uh, 9% YY decline in profits. The only silver lining which I saw was Marico, which actually gave 8% volume growth and 17% almost revenue growth. That was a fantastic because no other FMCG companies were giving that. That was the only silver lining. But look at the markets. Just open the chart of Marico and you will see it was already at all-time high. Markets को कितना पता होता है? You saw my video on Thursday. Last Thursday I told SBI के अंदर एक unexpected 3% कट आया है, which means the market expecting results will not go down. अब देखिए रिजल्ट कैसे आए उसके. Kotak was not contributing to the rise in the Nifty Bank for last 3 or 4 sessions, and you see how the numbers have come today. And the stock was down around 4 to 5%. Ultimately, market knows many things. I don't know. I not use the words they are insider trading, etc. But there are a lot of checks and balances, a lot of channel checks, a lot of data which they keep on analyzing and try to come to conclusion. So market को यही पता था कि मेरिको का जो है वो सबसे बढ़िया रिजल्ट आएगा in the entire FMCG pack. Imagine, see the chart of this video, and you'll be surprised. कि उसका all time well लग चुका था just 3 4 days back. And now the only prices were taken there so that you can exit from the long position. So exactly happened. People started exiting on the long position. So this is how the markets behave. तो अगर मार्केट्स में और एफआईज को ये मार्केट में कंफर्ट आ रहा है इस लेवल पे खरीदने में, इन स्पाइट ऑफ ऑल द अनसर्टेनिटी, इन स्पाइट ऑफ ऑल द इंडिया यूएस इंडिया पाकिस्तान टेंशंस, they know something which is much greater than us, or they're just trying to play the sentiments of the people where they will say, okay, you are short, you are hedged, I'll not get that goal because that gives you profit. See, ultimately it's zero sum game. No, derivatives is all about zero sum game. Your loss, my profit. That's the problem. That's the entire problem. It just depends on which side you are. आज की डेट में वो नंबर्स आपको सपोर्ट नहीं कर रहे हैं. निफ्टी आईटी, निफ्टी एफएमसीजी, नाउ इवन बैंक्स. The credit growth, the loan growth of SBI is 13%. Just 13%. Which is almost equal to ICICI Bank. And they're saying that go in that industry average only. In fact, Mr. C.S. Shetty, the chairman, has also come and told that my NIMs will remain under pressure for next 1 or 2 quarters because the trajectory of interest rates will come down. So if the NIMs are under pressure and the loan growth will remain same, then your stock cannot rise. That's what I'm saying. बैंक निफ्टी का टॉप बन गया 50,000 का, इस रैली का टॉप बन गया. For the year we are still saying 60,000, but for this rally the top has been made. बैंक निफ्टी, you should always short बैंक निफ्टी अगर आपको rise मिलता है for any reason, for any news, apart from results. If you get any news, liquidity infusion, some kind of rate cut, whatever it is, short बैंक निफ्टी. I never say these things, but I'm telling you, short बैंक निफ्टी, उसका टॉप एक नियर टर्म टॉप बन गया. नियर टर्म, I'm not even saying medium term, I'm not even saying longer term. Near term, this is on the data analysis which I'm able to do it. Nothing more than that. Because the stocks are trading, so ICICI Bank is trading at 3.25 times the book value, right? SDC Bank is also around 2.9 times book value. Kotak Bank was around 2.9 until this fall, so it might be around again 2.95 times the book value, which is pretty decent, I would say, right? उनका ऐसा नहीं है कि P multiples या फिर book value से वो काफी कम पे ट्रेड कर रहे हो. Something like IndusInd Bank which is trading less than 1 time book value, or let's say some other PSU banks always trade less than. Some banks even trade at 0.6, 0.7 times the book value. So those are under-owned or let's say undervalued stocks. If there you get comfort, there the buyings can happen, but not in overall bank nifty. It's looking very costly because of the numbers which are coming. That's one thing to be taken care of, and results are not supporting a rally beyond it. I mean, I will not see Nifty But I'd be highly surprised if the Nifty crosses more than 24,800. But yes, it will go one time to 24,800. वो हम कई बार बोल रहे हैं. But the problem is you can anytime get this uh, a sharp fall. So FIs are now only 8,500 contract short. That's all. In fact, I don't remember in the recent time when it was such a short number of shorts. Because shorts हमेशा रखते हैं as a hedge. So they are not short at all. वो लॉन्ग पे ही है एंड जिस दिन मार्केट में एक बहुत बड़ा टर्नअराउंड आएगा समथिंग व्हिच हैपेंड इन अक्टूबर यू विल सी द लॉन्ग्स बीइंग कट ड्रास्टिकली एंड शॉर्ट्स बीइंग एडेड ड्रास्टिकली इट विल हैपन सो फास्ट दैट यू विल नॉट इवन एबल टू कम आउट फ्रॉम द मार्केट्स आपको मार्केट से बाहर निकलना डिफिकल्ट हो जाएगा दैट्स व्हाई आई से book your profits book your profits sit on sidelines and wait for correction market fundamentally should not go anywhere from here 24,800 looks on the higher side. Yes, liquidity, if it is driving it, then you can't say anything. Then you can't say anything. FIs को अगर लग रहा है कि नहीं मेरे को तो इसको ऊपर लेके जाना ही है, if I am long, I want to gain profit, nobody else can gain profit, मुझे मार्केट ऊपर लेके जाना है, then you can't do anything because they are the people who have the money power, they can do that. But fundamentally लग नहीं रहा है अभी क्योंकि numbers ने support नहीं किया है. Most of the numbers which the company is showing are not showing good numbers at all. Yes, crude will help us a lot. Inflation will help us a lot. But where is the demand? Where is the demand? Demand is not there. Unfortunately, demand is not there. That's been the problem. So, but in a in a very near term, it may look like that. But in a short term perspective, in a medium term perspective, Indian markets look well because of the very good macros and the relatively better placement that we have in terms of tariff war. And India will gain a lot of comfort, lot of advantage from this tariff war, etc. All those things. Once this India-US market is over, then you have to really see, and then probably the market should see another trajectory from there on. Yes, it will be a hope trade because the numbers are still not supporting, but I think now it's a very strong buy on dips kind of a market. But see, I would say that you should start seeing buying somewhere around 23,800, 23,500. That's the range. Till that time, you should wait because that makes your risk reward very good. So, आएगा कि नहीं आएगा, when it will happen, I cannot say. I'm not the person who's running the markets. We all know that. There's only the FIs and the DIs and the bigger players, let's say, who are running the markets. But now, what will happen if the war breaks out in India and Pakistan? See, history says during Kargil war that 37% there was an increase in Sensex during that war, but that time the Sensex was just 1100 points, 1200 points. Also, Nifty was 1100, 1200 points. So, it doesn't make sense. And Nifty was around 25% up during that time. So, ठीक है, percentage terms we can talk about 25% and 38% on the Sensex, but the absolute term is very less. Moreover, that time, what was happening, what were the conditions, economic conditions, etc. Many things. How the government was operating, it was Vajpayee government who were generally growth driven, etc. All those things. So we cannot compare those time with this time. If the war happens this time, you will see some kind of profit booking 100%. See, if it's just a surgical strike, then probably you will have a minor knee-jerk reaction. You should probably buy that dip. But if it's a war, then a lot of government funds, a lot of government money, everything has to be shifted towards the war. It's a loss. In Kargil, we were spending 100 crore per day. So people said that spending itself brings a lot of GDP growth. That's fine. But it takes away the money from those factors which are leading to those growth avenues. For example, infra, if it's contributing to the growth, you can't spend the money in infra that time. You have to go for defense purchases. Now, those things in India-Pakistan war to a certain extent will going to happen. It is going to happen. My take is that it will happen. There may not be a full-fledged war, but it will not be as simple as a surgical strike. It will be somewhere in between, which means there will be time, effort, money which will be utilized in the war this time. 110%. That's my feeling that a mini war will happen this time in Pakistan. India will not take this easily, and we should not take it so easily. Yes, there will be a loss to human life, there will be a loss to our soldiers, and I feel full sympathy and I feel very sorry for all those things. But that's how it is. If they come into my house and start, you know, killing my people, killing my relatives, killing my friends, then I can't sit quiet. That gives a message of weakness, which at this stage, at this political level, and where the India stands, we're in top five economies now. You can't give that message. So action has to be taken. It will be taken. My view is that market will take some kind of a some kind of a reaction to that. Uh, that will be the time to buy. If that happens, that is the time to buy, and you should uh, probably stagger those buys in some dips and all, in some stages, in some trenches. But that is the time where you should buy the positions, and then the risk reward becomes much more better. So my view would be that you should wait for some more dips to happen. Will it happen or not? I cannot say, but fundamentally it is looking like some dip is quite deep. Even US market को मुझे लग रहा है कि ये dip अब बाकी है, because there has been a quite a fearsome rally and nothing has changed much on ground. A lot of things on hope, and I still say if Trump really wants to, you know, bring some good to the US people for the long future, then I think we should take this pain. So I've answered all the questions. US markets are looking good, but they should top out somewhere at the highs of March. In the long term, I still see a lot of pain for US markets. I'm not very happy with the way US markets are performing. The valuations are also very stretched, especially in the Magnificent Seven. Uh, but yes, the markets are getting some kind of relief because of Trump uh, signaling some kind of softening, then the economy being stronger, Mr. Powell not being kicked out, etc., all those things. But I still feel the inflation trajectory should remain higher for US, and the consumption should go down, and it will not be much easier for US markets to perform from here on. Indian markets looks rock solid. We are very extremely good on the macros. Macros are not looking good because the numbers of the company are not coming good. So वहाँ problem है. But the good monsoon, rate cuts, tax break should bring in some kind of demand back. We hope so. And मेरे ख्याल से demand आपको दिखेगी in this festival season. Somewhere around September, October, November, that is the time when you'll see a real pickup in demand. वहाँ के numbers बहुत beautiful आएंगे. So if you have a long-term horizon, buy all dips, sit tight for the entire year, and believe me, market will surprise you. Market will surprise you because market will then give you higher P multiple. आज वो P multiple earnings उतनी ही रहेंगी. Earnings will not change, but you will get a higher P multiple because of all these things. Macros being good, demand coming back, etc. All those things. और जब आपका higher P multiple मिल जाएगा तो market will go ahead. Then you will not question 25,000 is right or wrong. You're trying to give higher P multiple, so 26,000 will also look good, right? So markets आपको surprise कर सकते हैं on the upside. Don't undermine the markets. Don't believe in people who are saying that markets का top बन गया है या फिर markets इस बार all time high नहीं तोड़ सकते हैं. Nothing like that. FIs are not fools who are buying at these levels. They are not fools. 12th consecutive buying and seeing the today's market also, I think they are biased today also. So 13 consecutive sessions. In between, there are so many tensions, uncertainties, as they are still buying. They are not fools, man. They are not fools. They are seeing higher trajectory. Markets will surprise you on the upside. There is no doubt on that. But मेरे ख्याल से एक dip मिल जाए हमें तो it will be best. See, if you are long-term player, if you can take some risk, then you buy at these levels. So I'm not stopping you at all. But मेरा nature तो नहीं है. मेरा nature तो ये है कि I want to have better risk reward. That's why I want to wait for a dip. But I'm waiting for a dip. Doesn't matter. But fundamentally, market will surprise you going ahead. I have no doubts in that. Market will give you the same EPS earnings, they'll give you a higher P multiple. Because of that higher P multiple, you will see growth in your Nifty or other broad indexes. Look at the way the market is performing today. CDS, bad set of numbers. 3.5% down. Second half, shot up. 3.5% up. Angel one, bad set of numbers. It didn't fall at all. Look at the defense stocks. Defense stocks are going higher because they're working in double shifts. They've been asked to increase production a lot. Ammunition is being produced. The country is getting ready for a war. All these will convert into their profits. Nothing is happening nothing is happening irrationally. Don't forget. अगर irrational होता तो कोटक बैंक का 4% 5% नहीं गिरता. It's a favorite stock of FIIs. Numbers bad थे, punish किया. सीडीएस क्यों नहीं किया? Because this stock will get higher P multiple. In spite of less EPS, they will get higher P multiple because India is looking extremely good for next decade. तो जिसका व्यू उतना लंबा है, why really worry about this small fluctuations here and there? That's why you see stocks being bought very drastically. Any dips, these stocks get bought ferociously. So this is my view. Overall, I'm very positive of the markets. Short term, I want to wait for a dip to get the markets through. Valuations are not cheap. Valuations are expensive. Results are not coming good. In spite of that, the market will give you higher P multiple, and that's why the market should go up. But कौन सा stock ऊपर जाएगा कौन सा नहीं जाएगा आपको नहीं पता है. That is why buy index. My suggestion would be buy index. You don't know which index will take it higher, but better to be in index only. That's the best way. Stock specific थोड़ा problem हो सकता है because then you need a very big research to do that. But this is my overall view on the markets. I've told you on the US markets. I've told you on the Indian markets. I've told you numbers. I've told you in India, Pakistan, what I'm expecting, etc. All those things. With this, I'll probably end my video for today. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for the analysis. Thank you so much.